Nice big green day in here all around in the markets. I know that there was a lot of rotation. So a lot of those stocks that you would expect to gap up when the SPY and the QQQs and IWMs, they all are up that you would expect they're going to be green as well. Well, a lot of them have actually been red, but one of those that was in the green in here today is going to be Tesla. That's what we're looking at in here. Overall on the day, nice big gap up, a little bit of a blip in here early this morning. That got eaten right back up as everybody was trying to figure out what was going to be the play today and what we were going to kind of rotate into. So Tesla in here, we ended the day 412, up around almost 9% on the day. You can see more or less kind of off of that lower trend line in here. Obviously, we can adjust it just a little bit in here if we really needed to. But since our candle was never fully outside of this lower trend line in here, we're just going to keep it on for now. That is being our candle closing outside of that to the downside in here. So we're just going to leave this lower trend line in here. So going forward, what are we looking at? Support 404. That's what we're looking at. You got about, it's really a $2 channel. You got that 9-day EMA sitting at 402. You have that nice little support in there right around that 404 mark as well. So let's just chalk it up to about a $2 channel in here. That is going to be our major support in here. Anything outside of that, then we're going to look at that lower trend line coming in right around that 387 mark. And then obviously you have the lows coming in from last week with those 370s. To the upside in here, what are we looking at? Well, we're kind of banging our head up against it right now. That's going to be that 414. That was a level we talked about for quite some time at the beginning of the year in here. So now we're back up in here yet again. Anything outside of that, we are going to be focusing on the 440, but watch out for those nice whole numbers in between 414 and 441 to see if there's going to be any sort of a stopping point in there or kind of a reset as we're working our way up there. RSI in here is basically neutral, nothing to worry about on this front. We're going to see where our volume shakes out. It's probably going to be below average, or I guess below from what it has been in here in the past month or so, just because we have a shortened week coming up this week. So that's not really going to help us that much. But all in all, nice move in here to the upside for Tesla. A lot of stocks in the overall markets were sort of, they ended red, although they did have that kind of V recovery, but a lot of them just kind of gapped up and then just gave up, right? So Tesla is going to be one that ended green in here today. And all in all, nice little move in here on this start to the week. We're also going to take a look at BIDU in here on the weekly chart. This is a stock that's kind of just been hanging out around here in these low 100s for quite some time, about a month and a half or so. We've been kind of down here messing with this 50-day SMA. We were trading up as high as 144 just in early May in here. So about a couple months ago, we were up in those 140s. Harsh rejection here off this upper trend line, this overall resistance area right here, right back down. Didn't get saved by this 50, did not get saved by the 200, but now we're kind of right up against it in here, right? So last week was a huge down move for us in here. That gave us 4 consecutive weeks in a row with red candles. Finally turned it around on a little gap up in here, and then we are sitting about 8% up on the day, ended at 112 compared to last week's close where we were down here right around that 100 mark. So going forward, we are going to be looking at that 200 SMA as a kind of like the line in the sand, right? So are we going to be trading above the 200 going forward or below? Kind of what's going to happen, right? If we're going to stay above it, all right, sweet. Then we're going to focus on the 120s. We're looking at that 50-day SMA. But if not, we're staying below it. Then that's going to be our harsh resistance. And then to the downside in here, we're going to be worrying about that 108 and then that 100 level down here. And then eventually this lower trend line of this overall structure kind of sitting at that 97 area in here. So that is kind of the moral of the story in here for BIDU. It's all going to be about that 200-day SMA in here. And then look at our separation that we're getting right here with all of our moving averages in here. So you can see that we had a crossover back in here in April to the upside. Obviously, we have some separation now. Are we going to revert this back to the mean, or are we just going to kind of hang out in here and let all these moving averages run and kind of go away, right? So it all depends on how the market is going to react to certain things, what the price action is going to do in this underlying, and that's going to dictate how those moving averages are going to affect price going forward, I guess, as far as supports and resistances will go. So anyway, that's what we're looking at in here in BIDU, in Tesla. All in all, nice green day in here. We'll see how everything kind of shakes out as we continue on in this shortened week. You never know what The president is going to tweet that could change things drastically. So we'll see what happens in here. But all in all, shortened week, usually bullish on a shortened week, especially around 4th of July. But hey, we'll wait and see what happens in here. And we're just going to play what comes to us. So all in all, we'll take a nice day in here in Tesla and BIDU. And let's see if we respect any of these supports and resistances in here in the next days to come. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you are interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.